Welcome to my channel StarWire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Picture this. It's March 31st, 1994. The Ed Sullivan Theater is buzzing with anticipation. David Letterman, America's beloved late-night king, is about to welcome one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment history. But nobody, not the audience, not the crew, not even Dave himself, could have predicted what was about to unfold over the next 13 minutes. What happened that night would become television legend, sparking outrage across America, making headlines for weeks, and cementing Madonna's reputation as the ultimate provocateur. This is the story of the most controversial talk show appearance in television history. A night when boundaries were shattered, censors worked overtime, and one woman proved that she could command the world's attention with nothing more than her words and an unapologetic attitude. Welcome back to StarWire Daily, where we dive deep into the moments that defined entertainment history. I'm your host, and tonight, we're taking you behind the scenes of Madonna's infamous Letterman appearance, the night that changed late-night television forever. To understand the magnitude of what happened that March evening, we need to set the scene. Madonna Louise Ciccone had already conquered the world. She was the undisputed queen of pop, the material girl who had transformed herself from a Detroit dance floor regular into a global icon worth hundreds of millions. But by 1994, Madonna wasn't just famous, she was notorious. The early 90s had been a whirlwind of controversy for the pop superstar. Her coffee table book Sex had scandalized conservative America just 2 years prior, featuring explicit photographs and provocative essays that pushed every boundary imaginable. The book sold out immediately, but it also painted Madonna as someone who had gone too far. Critics called her desperate, attention-seeking, and vulgar. The media was relentless in their criticism, questioning whether she had finally crossed a line from which there would be no return. But Madonna? She thrived on controversy. It was her oxygen, her fuel, her weapon of choice in a male-dominated industry that constantly tried to silence powerful women. And she was about to prove that once again on national television. David Letterman's Late Show was the perfect stage for what was to come. David built his career on irreverent humor and unpredictable moments, but even he had limits. His show was broadcast during the family hour when parents and children might be watching together. The network executives were always watching, always ready to pull the plug if things went too far. It was a delicate balance between entertainment and acceptability, a balance Madonna was about to obliterate. The booking itself was strategic. Madonna needed to promote her upcoming album, Bedtime Stories, but more importantly, she needed to rehabilitate her image. The sex book controversy had hurt her commercially, and her team knew she needed to show America a different side of herself. They booked her on Letterman expecting a typical celebrity interview. Some laughs, some promotion, maybe a slightly edgy joke or two. They had no idea they were about to unleash a hurricane. As Madonna walked onto that stage on March 31st, wearing a simple black outfit with her signature red lipstick, the audience erupted in applause. But those who knew her well could see something different in her eyes that night. There was a mischievous glint, a barely contained energy that suggested she had something planned, something the network censors definitely hadn't approved. The interview started innocently enough. Dave, ever the professional, welcomed her with his trademark, gap-toothed grin and began with standard questions about her new music. But within minutes, the conversation took an unexpected turn. Madonna began dropping subtle hints that this wouldn't be a typical celebrity chat. She was testing the waters, seeing how far she could push before Dave or the network pulled her back. And then it happened. "Why are you so obsessed with my sex life?" Madonna asked Dave, her voice carrying that perfect blend of innocence and provocation that had made her famous. The audience laughed nervously, unsure if this was planned or if they were witnessing something spontaneous and potentially explosive. Dave, clearly caught off guard but trying to maintain control, deflected with humor. But Madonna wasn't backing down. In fact, she was just getting started. What followed was a masterclass in media manipulation and boundary pushing that no communications textbook could have prepared anyone for. Madonna began using language that had never been heard on network television during prime time. The censors in the control room were frantically hitting their delay buttons, creating those distinctive bleeps that would become the signature sound of the interview. But here's what made it brilliant. Madonna wasn't just being shocking for shock's sake. Every calculated provocation served a purpose. She was reclaiming her narrative, refusing to be the victim of media criticism, and demonstrating that she, not the interviewers or the critics, controlled her story. You know what? I'm not leaving, Madonna declared when Dave jokingly suggested she should go, referring to her colorful language. The audience was riveted, sensing they were witnessing television history. But Madonna wasn't done. She grabbed the host's desk, leaned forward with that iconic smirk, and delivered line after line of unscripted and censored commentary that left Dave struggling to maintain his composure. The technical crew was in chaos. The censors were working overtime, creating so many bleeps that at times Madonna's sentences became incomprehensible to viewers at home. But somehow, her message was crystal clear. She would not be silenced. She would not apologize for her sexuality, and she would not conform to anyone's expectations of how a woman should behave on television. Dave, to his credit, tried to steer the conversation back to safer territory multiple times. But Madonna was like a force of nature that night. Unpredictable, powerful, and absolutely unstoppable. Every time he thought he had regained control, she would drop another bombshell that sent the audience into shocked laughter and the censors into overdrive. Behind the scenes, network executives were having emergency meetings in real time. Phone calls were being made to legal departments. The show's producers were frantically calculating the potential fallout while simultaneously recognizing that they were witnessing the most talked-about television moment in years. But Madonna wasn't finished with her performance. In one of the interview's most memorable moments, she refused to leave when the interview was supposed to end. Instead, she sat back in her chair, crossed her legs, and declared that she was comfortable and wasn't going anywhere. The audience erupted in cheers and applause, fully invested in watching this battle of wills play out on live television. Dave, ever the professional, tried to maintain his hosting duties while dealing with a guest who had essentially taken over his show. It was like watching a master chess player face off against someone who had decided to ignore all the rules of chess and create an entirely new game. The aftermath was immediate and explosive. Within hours, phone calls flooded the network switchboard. Conservative groups demanded apologies. Media critics wrote scathing reviews. Religious organizations called for boycotts. The FCC launched an investigation. Madonna had achieved something remarkable. She had gotten the entire country talking about a single television appearance. But here's the fascinating part. The controversy only made Madonna more powerful. The appearance generated so much media coverage that it was worth millions in free publicity. Her upcoming album received unprecedented attention. Radio stations couldn't stop talking about the interview. Late-night comedians built entire monologues around it. Madonna had weaponized controversy in a way that no celebrity had ever done before. She had turned what should have been a career-damaging scandal into a career-defining triumph. Years later, industry insiders would reveal the full scope of what happened that night. The interview generated more viewer mail than any other late show appearance in the program's history. The ratings for that episode remained among the highest for years. And despite all the outrage, or perhaps because of it, Madonna's career reached new heights. David Letterman himself would later admit that the interview was one of the most memorable moments in his entire career. He recognized that Madonna had created something unprecedented, a piece of television that people would be talking about for decades. But the impact went far beyond entertainment. Madonna's appearance changed the landscape of celebrity interviews forever. It proved that authenticity, even controversial authenticity, could be more powerful than carefully managed public relations. It showed that audiences craved real, unscripted moments in an increasingly manufactured media world. The interview also revealed something profound about Madonna's understanding of media and power. She had recognized that in 1994, being talked about, even negatively, was more valuable than being ignored. She had turned controversy into currency, outrage into opportunity. The fashion world took notice too. Madonna's simple but striking outfit that night became iconic. The way she carried herself, the confidence she projected, the complete control she maintained even while appearing to be out of control, it all contributed to an image that fashion designers and stylists still reference today. But perhaps most importantly, the appearance demonstrated Madonna's incredible intelligence and strategic thinking. This wasn't a celebrity meltdown or an accidental controversy. This was a carefully calculated performance designed to achieve specific goals, and it worked perfectly. The legacy of that March night continues to influence entertainment today. Every time a celebrity creates controversy on a talk show, it's compared to Madonna's Letterman appearance. Every time someone refuses to follow the standard celebrity interview playbook, critics invoke that infamous 13 minutes. Modern pop stars still study that interview, trying to understand how Madonna managed to generate such massive cultural impact from a single television appearance. Marketing executives use it as a case study in crisis communication and brand management. And let's be honest, in our current social media age, where controversy spreads across platforms in minutes, Madonna's strategic use of shock value seems almost quaint. She was doing in 1994 what influencers attempt to do every day on Instagram and TikTok, but she was doing it with more skill, more purpose, and infinitely more style. The truth is, Madonna's 1994 Letterman appearance wasn't just about shock value or publicity stunts. It was about a woman refusing to be diminished by criticism, refusing to apologize for her sexuality, and refusing to conform to society's expectations. In 13 minutes, she demonstrated more authentic feminism than most activists manage in entire careers. She showed that sometimes the most powerful response to your critics isn't defense. It's doubling down on exactly what they're criticizing you for. She proved that authenticity, even uncomfortable authenticity, resonates more deeply with audiences than carefully crafted personas. And in a world where celebrities are increasingly managed by teams of publicists and social media experts, Madonna's raw, unfiltered performance feels almost revolutionary. She was completely, unapologetically herself. Consequences be damned. That night in 1994, Madonna didn't just create a controversial television moment. She created a masterpiece of media manipulation that changed entertainment forever. She proved that one person, with enough confidence and strategic thinking, could command the attention of an entire nation and turn that attention into lasting cultural influence. Today, when we see celebrities carefully managing their images across multiple platforms, it's worth remembering that sometimes the most powerful move is the one nobody expects. Sometimes the most authentic thing you can do is refuse to be authentic in the way others want you to be. Madonna understood this before anyone else, and that March night, she gave us 13 minutes of television that we're still talking about 30 years later. If that's not the mark of a true icon, I don't know what is. What did you think of Madonna's legendary Letterman appearance? Was she a media genius ahead of her time? Or did she go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives on these iconic entertainment moments. And if you enjoyed diving deep into this piece of television history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to StarWire Daily for more behind-the-scenes stories about the moments that shaped Hollywood. We've got so many incredible stories coming your way, from classic scandals to modern-day controversies that are still unfolding. Until next time, keep watching the stars, and remember, sometimes the most memorable moments are the ones nobody saw coming.